were through a period in which inflation was high, higher than we had really seen since the late 70s or early 80s. But it has come down quickly.
Madam Secretary, isn't it a fact that the president's proposed budget for next fiscal year is $500 billion more than this fiscal year?
On the spending side?
Yes. That's what a budget is.
Yeah. It is about $400 billion.
It's about $500 billion more, right?
It's about what?
$500 billion more, right?
About that.
Isn't it a fact that the president's proposed budget proposes $4.7 trillion in new taxes?
It does propose significant additional taxes, yes.
4.7 trillion?
Something like that, yes.
Okay.
I wonder whether you think these are idiosyncratic, whether you think this is the beginning of a wave, whether you think that companies are just coming to the realization that they have been bloated. I mean, a lot of people talked about the bloat during the pandemic and then felt like they couldn't lay people off during that period. How do you assess this?
I think that the market rewards layoffs. I also think the fact that there's a certain amount of bloat that happened, especially after COVID, well, during COVID, where companies overhired. But I think there's something else at play. Artificial intelligence is really at play here. When you really look at the numbers of people that are being restructured or being laid off, you're looking at a lot of white collar jobs. But especially, and I'm going to speak directly to my human resources folks, 28% of the layoffs that have happened have been in human resources, largely in the fact that artificial intelligence has made the automation of those jobs to the point where you no longer need those human resources professionals.
So you think AI has already hit the business effectively?
Oh, absolutely. Especially in the tech sector. I mean, they've been talking about it for years. Now the fact that you have more companies moving toward artificial intelligence, and they're looking at the fact that as opposed to paying somebody $200,000, $300,000 a year to do the job, I can actually use artificial intelligence to do the job that they used to be able to do.
So what does this portend? I mean, do you think that we're going to start to, if you looked at the Fortune 500, would you think we're going to see 10%, 20% layoffs? I mean, in terms of total numbers of employees at these companies over the next, call it 2 or 3 years, what does that look like to you?
Probably about 10% of the workforce is going to be laid off, especially when the fact that, again, the market rewards it. But that's just sort of the trend that we see ourselves going down.
Are there certain, I mean, we've talked about also the protected jobs. There are certain types of jobs. Oddly enough, people thought that blue collar workers were going to lose their jobs first. Now it may very well be the white collar workers.
Oh, the white collar workers are in trouble. Let's talk about blue collar workers. And I'll say this and I say it again. That's why we need to start investing more money into trade schools. We need to start sending students into trade schools because blue collar jobs are where it's at. White collar jobs, on the other case, especially in middle management, sales, along the lines, those are the jobs that are being eradicated because people don't want to continue to pay the salaries for things that either artificial intelligence can do, or instead of hiring 5 people to do that job, I can cut it down to 2. And so I know that they'll do the work of 5 people.
How concerned, though, are you about, there was a whole period of time everyone said you got to be an engineer. Everybody needs an engineering degree. Everybody poured into engineering. Now you're talking about AI effectively taking those engineering jobs. Now you and others are saying, hey, everyone's got to get reskilled so they can do a blue collar job. Well, if Elon Musk has his way, he's going to have robots doing a lot of these jobs very soon, and you're starting to see more and more of this. So in terms of trying to skate where the puck is or isn't, what would you really do?
I would take a look at what the market is rewarding. And right now, the market is still rewarding. Let's be honest, the market is still rewarding technical skills. The market is rewarding technology, it's rewarding coding, it's rewarding those kinds of things. I think ultimately, though, people need to take a look at the fact that corporations will utilize your skill set when they need you, and they will get rid of your skill set when they don't need you. So what I will tell people is invest in your side hustle, whatever the case might be. If If you want to create your own job, you want to create your own business, that's what you do. Because if you're going to go into the market thinking that corporations are going to take care of you, they're just not, because there's no reason for them to do so.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And we have good old Janet Yellen popping back up, and we know why. She's on the scene because the Fed is going to be meeting next week. And what did she say? The economy is doing fine. And we know Jerome Powell is going to be saying the same thing. But he's not going to tell the people that he's going to be cutting rates. And we know the bond market is not going to like that. Of course, he's going to say he's going to be data dependent. But right now, no rate cuts. And now we have social media constantly talking about AI taking jobs. And guys, not only are they taking jobs, they're taking a good paying jobs. Now, you know I've done plenty of shorts on fast food, Flippy, making hamburgers, pizza, fried chicken. We already know those jobs can be replaced tomorrow. That's the reason why McDonald's is going to be putting out like 10,000 stores. But AI is replacing the great paying jobs, these careers. Remember, guys, these are careers. And now you have machines doing the job. And then we see on the stock market, we know the investors are getting rewarded. Every time these corporations saying they're laying off, the stocks go up. And we know the NWO hands are right behind it. But we're seeing corporations getting rid of 8 to 10% of their workforce like every 6 months. Guys, remember this is a plan and moves in phases. And I told you in 2024 would pick up. I said it all last year. Guys, take these videos, share them. Especially if you're in my stock premium Patreon account. The video I'm going to be putting out today is unbelievable. I had to sit back myself and laugh. You just have to remind yourself people do anything for money. Now we see that college came into question. College is still wonderful, but it depends on how you're using it. If you're going to college, you need to come out thinking as a business owner. Now, because you have all this technology, you can actually become a billionaire with 5 people, 2 people inside the company. All you have to do is look at old companies. I've done videos on this. These old companies have hundreds of thousands of workers. But if you look at the new tech corporations, they may only have tens of thousands of workers. But the fact is their market cap is the same as these old school companies. And we've had plenty of corporate leaders sending out the warning. And we know Elon Musk is one of them. They told us what was coming, but unfortunately, the sheep don't listen. They're distracted on things that don't matter. And when you're talking about blockchain and tokenization, it's going to make things even worse because you won't have to rely on not one human. The robots, algorithms, and drones now can do all the work. And then on top of it, guys, they can pay each other. And with blockchain, it keeps track. So therefore, you'll never be able to steal from the system. Remember, blockchain gives the NWO the all-seeing eye, and we know CBDCs and stablecoins, they'll be able to tell you what, when, and how to buy, and you have 3 to 6 months to spend them, or poof, it's gone. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
2,000 jobs at Activision Blizzard and Xbox as the tech landscape resets. What is the story now for startups? That's the focus of today's Tech Check with our Deirdre Bosa. Morning, Dee.
Hey, good morning, Carl. It has just been a brutal year so far for tech workers, and behind the scenes at these private startups, it is even worse. Former Silicon Valley darlings like Brex recently cut a fifth of its workforce, Discord 17% of its. I sat down this morning with VC and founder Jack Abraham of Atomic, who thinks that 2024 will be the year of the mass extinction event for startups as cash dries up. Have a listen.
If you look at the data at the end of last year, so December timeframe, 2/3 of all of the startup companies had less than a year of runway left in the bank. That's really concerning. So during boom times, companies tend to raise debt. It's very easy to raise. Companies are now tapping into that debt. A lot of them are actually out of their equity capital. And all of a sudden, those debtors can come up and they can say, hey, we need to be paid back. And companies can get caught in a really tough spot. So this year, we're certainly going to see some sort of a mass extinction event as companies run out of capital. Sometimes that will involve wind down. Sometimes that'll almost put companies on what venture capitalists like to refer to as a zombie path, a zombie company, which is slim it down, don't take sort of the press hit from it.
So a lot of times also I hear people saying, look, it helps productivity. You've got actual use cases. I'm going to give you a choice here. You can talk about the German appliance company. You can give me Visa. You can give me telco. You can give me banks. But you're actually talking about dispute resolutions. You're talking about concrete things that AI is doing that free up other people to be more productive. I need some examples.
Yeah, exactly. So if you think about Siemens, they're transforming their employee experience using Gen AI to boost productivity so the cases in HR can be resolved by the system, not tie people up on 800 lines.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go, but clearly we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will. During that auction that we saw a little bit before, the attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy. And you know, when the dealers have to step in to save a Treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books, It's Time to Re-Educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.